July 18, 1925, in a Germany struggling to find its footing amidst the ashes of a devastating global defeat, a book quietly hits the shelves of bookstores, carrying words that would eventually set the world on fire. In the immediate wake of his failed armed coup, the infamous beer hall push, and his subsequent comfortable imprisonment, a radical political agitator named Adolf Hitler publishes the very first volume of his autobiography and political manifesto, Mein Kampf, or My Struggle. At the time, few could have predicted that these pages would become the official gospel of an empire. It is a deeply venomous, aggressive work that explicitly outlines a radical, highly exclusionary vision of Germany. By twisting history and science, it firmly lays the absolute ideological foundations for the industrial-scale horrors, aggressive expansions, and horrific atrocities of the future Third Reich.
To fully comprehend how such an extreme text could ever gain traction, we must analyze the desperate, turbulent circumstances surrounding the writing of this manifesto. Dictated largely to his loyal deputy Rudolf Hess while sitting in his cell at Landsberg prison, the book was born out of intense personal frustration and political defeat. However, its contents mirrored a broader national trauma. This chapter explores how the severe economic fallout of post-World War I hyperinflation, combined with a deep sense of national humiliation following the Treaty of Versailles, provided an incredibly fertile ground for the venomous extremism expressed in his writing. The fragile Weimar Republic was constantly rocked by financial collapse, political assassinations, and mass unemployment. In a society where ordinary citizens had lost their life savings and their sense of national pride, the radical, conspiratorial explanations offered in Mein Kampf ceased to look like fringe lunacy to some, and instead began to sound like a desperate, radical answer to their daily suffering.
History has frequently made the tragic mistake of dismissing this book as the unhinged ramblings of a frustrated fanatic. In truth, Mein Kampf was not just a poorly written book, it functioned as a literal, terrifying roadmap for the Nazi Party's subsequent rise to total power. Everything the regime would later execute was written out in plain sight years before they ever seized government control. We discuss the key ideological pillars, ranging from a deeply entrenched biological anti-Semitism that scapegoated minority populations for Germany's structural failures, to the aggressive, imperialistic concept of Lebensraum, or living space, in the East. The book explicitly detailed the intent to dismantle democratic institutions, crush free speech, and enforce absolute state compliance. These extreme concepts, once confined to the pages of a prison manifesto, would soon be systematically implemented as official national policy, transforming the state into an aggressive weapon of racial purity and militarism. The publication and subsequent state-sponsored mass distribution of Mein Kampf serves to this day as a chilling, timeless reminder of the absolute, dangerous power of propaganda, unchecked hate speech, and extreme ideologies. Initially ignored by international observers and mainstream domestic politicians who believed the public would naturally reject such radicalism, the book eventually became a mandatory fixture in every German home, gifted by the state to newlyweds and soldiers alike. We examine the profound, tragic irony of how the world failed to recognize the literal danger hidden within these ignored words until it was far too late to stop the momentum. The reluctance to confront extremism early allowed a fringe ideology to slowly normalize itself within the mainstream public consciousness. By tracing the straight line connecting the 1925 publication to the eventual outbreak of World War II and the systematic horrors of the Holocaust, history teaches us a heavy lesson about the high cost of complacency in the face of hatred.
Decades after the fall of the regime that birthed it, Mein Kampf remains one of the most significant, widely studied, and deeply destructive manifestos in modern human history. It stands as a dark monument to the weaponization of language and the devastating impact of political extremism. As we reflect on this somber turning point in world history, how do you assess the broader role of literature, mass media, and ideology in the active mobilization of extremist movements today? Can a society protect its democratic freedoms while allowing radical speech to exist? Or do toxic ideologies inherently exploit the open nature of free societies to destroy them from within?
Share your detailed thoughts, historical analyses, and perspectives in the comments section below. If you found this rigorous historical deep dive valuable, please give this video a like, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel to join us for more historical deep dives. Make sure to tap the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Thank you for watching, and stay vigilant.